So continue on from that, money, the topic, the title of my podcast today on my Ripple tab is on what's your money love language. What's your money love language? Money is like I was saying, it's very, very sensitive issue. So I will delve into it a little bit by, as women, how we need to take charge when it comes to our financial presence and our financial future. We are in the 21st century where when I feel like we as women should have the mentality of where we need to really take charge of it, be aware of it, be educated on what our options are, because when you have options, you have hope, right? Where we need to forget about the knight in shiny armor kind of mentality. We're going to find a man, and that man is going to come over and marry us and just fix everything, and everything just kind of becomes shiny and our future is all set. Maybe I'm just a boss bitch. I have a boss bitch mentality. Excuse my language when I say bitch, but I read a book couple months ago, and the title is Boss Bitch. But I love that book. Anybody you want to look into reading that book as a woman, as a minority woman, some really great stuff. Having the boss bitch mentality. And one of the greater things I learned, and I would love really to pass on to my sisters out there, is knowing your worth and standing in your worth, in accepting or putting it out there. When I started my practice alongside my husband, there have been different things, like even, settling on fees when it comes to so I'm continuing on, excuse me. So I'm continuing on with I got interrupted a little bit, so I have to find a way to tally this without making it very fragmented there. But this is a very exciting topic for me, and when it comes to money as it relates to women, especially minority women. So I was saying, so I had to put up, a worth to what private pay will be. And my bill was like, what, Gina, you just have to come up with it. And I said, wow. So I asked my mentor, who of course is a man, so he said, I charge, it was a pretty hefty amount. I said, whoa, wow. So I kind of, being that I'm a new practice, I kind of went halfway there, and I kind of, went by, my husband's thought process on it, kind of, trying to see what he's saying, and we came up with an amount. But it's really funny how, sometimes we can settle for less. And on that note as well, when I was working for the other company before I, quit that and started my own practice, when they offered me my pay and they were, I had to, I was like, no, I want to see if I negotiate and put a higher amount on the table, if they will accept it, knowing very well that, I was really, green and out of school and really didn't have a lot of experience. But I realized, and I was shocked when I put the quote on the table of how much I was offering, scared and thinking, they might say no. But surprisingly, they needed my services. They needed what I have to bring on the team. They accepted my offer, and I was like, oh God darn, I could have even gone higher, and they probably would have accepted it. But that brought it to me where I was like, we settle so much for less, in terms of negotiating for what we are worth. We have so much talent, we have so much to bring to the team, and realizing that and running for it. But because most of us women, we have been to school, we have juggled the family. Some of us, we know we were juggling school, family, marriage, whatever, pregnancy. While pregnant, I remember being preggo to whatever, and I was taking my board. There were times where I failed. A board, I had to go back, but I never gave up because I needed to make it happen, because I needed to set the standard for my daughters, I have biological daughters, other daughters that I have adopted along the way. But it's the core of it is knowing what your love language is when it comes to money. Sometimes initially there were times, and even still it's a work in progress when it comes to talking about money. And I think money usually in relationship is how we feel about it, how we grew up sensing money. Like for me, I'm very easygoing when it comes to money. I want to live life is short kind of deal, But yes, be mindful of what to do. But my husband can be a very strict, very frugal when it comes to money, but still but communicating about money is the root of it. They say money is the root of all of it. No, but it's the communication and the lack thereof, or the inability to really resolve certain things, and which is still, many couples or relationships, it's work in progress to get there. I mean, say we are there yet, still working on it, but talking about it, bringing awareness to it, so it doesn't break you. And knowing that other girlfriends of mine or other women will be in agreement to this, and keeping the communication and really making money, talking about money, not such a taboo in our homes and stuff like that. For 2020, I have made it a goal that I'm going to make a vision board, a board for family together for 2020 and the years going on, and our individual goals, especially when it pertains to money. What do we have? That way, when we have that and we look at it every day, everybody is kind of on board. So we are not having this fear of talking or, anxiety and eventually having the courts determine what money should be and not be, or where it should be allocated and not allocated is the big deal. So because money can break, money can cause wars, money can cause anger, money can cause, I talked about anger the last time. One of the things that bring about anger and animosity in so many different places is money. Somebody was talking to me the other time and said many years back, even in the church, money used to be talked about, where, in leadership, money, the tithe, everything is talked about. But now we don't even talk about it. It can be a root of animosity, even in the church, in the leadership of the church, in the church in general, in homes, in our communities, everywhere. We talk about the government now. Money is the reason why our boss on top right now, we're talking about impeachment, all this, some of his business, the money, how he's trying to make more money at the expense of the nation. So money is the root or the fabric of our society, but we don't talk about it enough. And guess what? Sometimes if we don't, we leave it in the hand of the courts to determine this. And we pay big fees to lawyers to determine what they say. And I determined that my family, for the years going forward, that it will not be the courts determining that. Find ways. And I believe many women will agree, including men too, that we really need to take a step back to communicate a little more when it comes to money. Sometimes men have different approaches, especially in our culture, where men tend to have more like control or whatever. But, as we evolve in our culture as immigrants, especially in this country, and finding ways to balance it, where women are also on the table when it comes to negotiating, what should be done, and different approaches to, what decision making, the big decision making should be, and the women feel like they are also involved. It's really important. And I want to be an advocate, and starting from my home and being an overflow, having a goal of the next 5 years where, there's more open-mindedness when it comes to talking about money and communicating about money. So I hope that this was a really good topic to start off. I'm going to do part 2 of talking about money, especially when it pertains to women and minority women, and how it affects our mental health, the lack thereof of communicating or talking about money the right way. and how to save and bring about financial planner if need be, having a third party in the communication process. And I said process because it is sometimes a process. It might take months, weeks, months, if not years, to get to the goal of it, and not rushing to get to that goal, and not really taking the emotionality out of talking about money. I've learned that is very, very important. Taking your emotions out of it, because that can drive it in the wrong direction and can break relationships and can break apart really good stuff. So I'm just putting out there. Call me, talk to me, email me, WhatsApp me, whatever. Let's talk about money. What is your love language when it pertains to money? Girls, women, I don't even say I need to open an account for my daughter, my son. Educate those kids about credit scores. These are things we didn't know, maybe because we are immigrants, but in all honesty, how do we bring about, a course in schools, in colleges, when we get educated about saving, saving for rainy days, about credit scores, about whatever. I am learning so much about money and taking charge of our money, our financial future, saving for our retirement. I'm so crazy about it right now. My husband thinks I'm driving him crazy, but I am in that driver's seat like no other, driving it and hope some other woman will drive it with me, and let's get this out there and make it fun so it doesn't become crazy, and we don't let the courts, like I said, let the courts decide it on our behalf and for our children's future. How do we save? What's your money love language? Women, let's do this. Enjoy your holidays. Talking about money, shopping for Christmas. Yeah. All of that stuff boils down to what? Money. Take it easy out there. Don't overshop. Don't overdo it. For me, I know, sometimes my husband is the one that's put the screech on it. Stop it, Gina. Don't feed into the kids too much. Don't feed into the list and all that too much. But yeah, it's a balancing act. So thank you so much for tuning in to Ripples Hub again, where anything mental health get talked about when it comes to women and minority women. Let's get this going. Hopefully, I'll get somebody, a woman entrepreneur next time to interview and talk about money and see what their point of view will be. I have a great woman will be coming up on the next 1 or 2 podcasts, and have her take on when it comes to money. How did they do it? How are they doing it? Very, very excited, sisters and my brothers as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bring your comments, questions, comments. Let's get this going. Career, whatever. It's very exciting. It's very broad as well. So we'll catch up with you. Enjoy your holidays. Happy New Year, and stay blessed out there. Be safe. Bye.